Hey everyone, this is Lucas, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your clothes. Clothes? Yep, how you dress. And this is going to be in line with a video that I published before, um, which is that the small things matter. But I'm going to try to elaborate this in a different way, or maybe we'll make this part two. I don't know. Anyway, the way you dress does matter. And again, this is more going to be an example for a bigger topic, so just bear with me here. The way you dress matters because the way you dress makes you feel differently. If you dress a lot more professional, if you feel better about how you look, if you look in the mirror and feel proud of that, that's going to carry you differently throughout the entire day. Even your body language throughout the day. Puffed out chest, shoulders loose, leaned back. Standing taller, taking up a little bit more space. Not so much that you're man-spreading and blocking other people, but more space than you are taking up, as much as you can. That'll just overall make you feel better. And the kicker is that as soon as you start feeling better, as soon as other people start complimenting you on your appearance, as soon as you start looking in the mirror and feeling, yeah, you know what, I do look good. As soon as all of these different things happen, it'll create a snowball. And that snowball will extend into other areas of your life. And that's the magic of these things, of the little things that count. Is that it's not just about one thing. It's not just about, dressing nicely every once in a while. If you can dress nicely, and that's a subjective nicely, but if you can dress nicely on your worst day, you'll feel like your day will be so much better. And I could go into the self-fulfilling prophecy, I can go into confirmation bias, I can go into cognitive dissonance and explain why this all happens, but that's not really the point. The point is that you understand that the little things that you may have overlooked, the little things that you didn't think mattered, still matter. Now, I don't want to make this stress you out. Because the truth is obviously that your work is going to matter way more for your life quality than the way you dress. But you can't always change your work, at least not right away, and maybe not to the degree that you need to change it to feel better. But you can change how you dress, you can change how you walk, you can change a lot of these little things. And many people think that it doesn't really matter because the little things, they're little. That you should rather put this attention and energy towards other things. But again, it's the snowball effect. It's this idea that if you dress better, the other areas of life are going to be easier to improve. That's what most people don't understand. That's the mental block. For some reason, they think they have to do this big thing before they can do the little things, because otherwise they don't deserve to do the little things or should invest their energy into the big things rather than the little things. They shouldn't spare it for the little things. But if you spare just a little bit of time and energy on the little things, you'll feel better. You know this. You've experienced this. When you cleaned your home, when you cleaned your apartment or your house, when you've went from a pretty messy place, relatively and subjectively speaking, to a very clean place, you felt better. And it wasn't significant, well, it wasn't much, but it was significant. You walked a little taller, felt a little nicer, you might have smiled a little bit more. There was just a difference. And that difference was just from one thing. Now imagine if you added more plants to your home, if you worked on your hairstyle, if you tried to get a little bit stronger, if you cleaned up your desk, if you worked out a little bit more, if you got rid of some of the clutter around your home, so you threw out some things. Imagine if you did everything you could, if you drank a little bit more water, if you ate a little bit more vegetables, right? Everything that comes to mind. If you went to bed on time, if you woke up earlier, every little thing. From making your bed, to eating healthier, to working out, everything matters. From the way you walk, to the way you talk, to the things that you think, everything counts. And again, this is not supposed to stress you. What this is supposed to do is create opportunities in your life. Many, many, many opportunities that you can take to improve. And you're going to miss a lot. You're going to miss a lot more than you'll end up taking. But we want to count the wins. We want to count those hits. We want to count every time you swing, every time you make a change, every time you add something. And for some of you, you might not be always in a great state. You might not always be motivated or inspired to make these big changes in your life. And that's okay. You don't have to make big changes. Just a small change does count. A small step makes a difference. And this brings me back to an example that I mentioned in another video, maybe even in part 1 of this, which is the story about if it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. And I'm not going to explain the entire story. I looked through the videos. I don't remember where I posted it, but it's in one of the other videos. The one thing that really made a difference was this idea that if you don't have the energy or the willpower, the motivation to take a walk outside, just opening your door or opening a window is a step in the right direction. And the author of this story was talking about people with depressions at this point. Those people with depressions sometimes don't even have the energy to get out of bed, much less take a shower or eat healthy or do anything else. But if you've ever been depressed, if you've ever been sad, you know that one tiny step, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is still a step. And if it's a step in the right direction, it's a step in the right direction. We just get lost so often that we still need to make big things. For instance, when it comes to politics. Now, I'm not going to get political here, but what I am going to say is that the world overall is making improvements. We're, as a whole, way further ahead than we were 500 years ago. There's a lot less poverty, there's a lot less crime, there's a lot less of everything. That doesn't mean we're doing good. And it doesn't mean it's enough. But we are taking steps in the right direction. And while it may seem sometimes that we're taking steps down, that's a subjective, a relative step down, not an objective step down. And in your own self-improvement, this is something that will likely keep you back a lot. You know those stock market curves, the ones that like have a spike and then they go down a little bit and then they spike a little more and they go down a little bit and then spike up a little bit and go down a little bit. And if you have a trend, it's a general upward trend. That's what life is like. We climb, and then things get too difficult and usually we fall back. And that fall down, relatively speaking, sucks. That's big fall down, right? We're going from where we were to something way worse. Objectively speaking, we're falling to about halfway where we used to be. Right? We used to be way further down, but we don't. That's so far gone in the past that it doesn't trigger anymore. It doesn't put itself in our mind. And we don't think about that. It doesn't register. When we register, it's that downfall, that lack of things. And then eventually we catch ourselves. And then we go up again, up. And eventually there's a peak. And you fall down again. It's not a big fall, right? We're now maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times further than we were before. Might even be twice as far that we were since the last downfall. But again, that downfall is subjective. It's relative. And relatively speaking, it still sucks. And that'll happen every time. What you can do to minimize that is to understand that everything counts, that every little thing matters a little bit, and that when you make changes, you'll have more things that go right that minimize this downfall. Again, if you get fired, having a nice closet, being put together, feeling good about your body might not make that much of a difference, but it's definitely going to dampen that downfall. It's definitely not going to make you go into these negative spirals that a lot of depressed people go into. It says, oh, I'm worthless, look, I'm even looking bad, like, I haven't taken care of my body, I haven't taken care of anything, why is everything so awful? You won't be able to say that. You won't go that deep. It might still suck. Will probably still suck if you ever get fired, but it's not going to suck as much as if you have a lot of different things, a lot of small things that boost you, that or they act like feathers in a pillow. The more you have, the softer it is. If you fall from somewhere high, it's still gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt less than if you had no pillow. Or less feathers, for that matter. Bad analogy, but I hope it works. What does this mean? What does this mean practically for you? What that means is that instead of trying to worry about the big things that you should change, try looking at the small things that you can easily change and start there. Don't abandon the big thing. Right? The big thing is likely still important for some reason, so still try your best. But in the meantime, work on a lot of other small things. Do what you can do, and as much as you can do as possible. Do your laundry. Clean up your closet. Take out some things that you don't need anymore. Dress nicer. Take something seriously. And the next thing. Excuse me, it's very late. This is horrible for video. I shouldn't even be posting something like this, but I'm glad I did this video, and it might be a repeat. I don't know. If it's a repeat, it's likely because it's important. Hopefully you got something out of this example. I'm gonna go to bed here in a second. But please let me know you know what? Comment down below. Everyone who's watching this, if you've made it this far, you can comment a little bit. What are some things that you can change? Why don't you give me 5? 5 things that you can change right now. No matter how small they are. Making some things easy, making some things that will make you feel better. Not amazing, not great, but better. So please, comment those 5 things, and then make an effort to actually implement these 5. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, great day, wherever you are. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video.